Hey, this is Mark Irwin. Thanks for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.
Hey guys, another fabulous episode of the Boston Chris podcast, and we have a huge treat for y'all today. 50th year in the country music business, Mr. TG Sheppard. He of 22 number one hits. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, my friend. I can't believe 50 years can go by so quickly.
And it
I mean,
doesn't even
really,
tell the whole story because you did what, 10 years prior to that as well, right?
yeah. I mean, I've been around since dirt. I
Yeah.
mean, really, it was invented. But I don't know. It goes so quickly because if you're not careful, my friend, you get caught up in you don't take time to stop and smell the roses. If you're not careful, you can get caught up into a career and it'll go quickly and you miss a lot.
Have you done
I'm
that?
very fortunate that I've taken my time to stop and smell the roses along the way. But what a great 50 years so far.
Yeah, and it's also the 45th anniversary of a number one hit of yours, Do You Want to Go to Heaven?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you tell the story about how this song came to be.
Actually, we were getting ready to record an album, and the writer Curly Putman, who wrote Do You Want to Go to Heaven, also wrote another monster hit, Green Green Grass at Home, and so many other big hits, Curly Putman. And I've always loved story songs. I've always believed that if you can tell a good story with a song, people will enjoy hearing it over and over again. So this was one of those story songs that came along, and when I heard it, I said, I've got to record this one because I think this one could be a career milestone. And sure enough, even to this day, 50 years later, I stand on stage and I hear and see people singing the song back to me. Even some people in their 20s and 30s that weren't born yet when it was number one are singing the song to me. So it kind of freaks me out. But yeah, it was a magic song and a great story. And I was very blessed to have been able to have it first.
Does that ever get old to you, being on stage and hearing people sing your songs back with you or
Never.
with you?
Never. You would think that after all this time that you would get on autopilot
Right.
and go out there and do a show. And I'm not saying that some people don't, but I don't. Every time I walk out there, it's like the first time.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear the applause or you see the people sitting in the seats or standing in front of your stage, it's electrifying. It's each and every time I walk out there, it's like the first time. It's like the dream has come true for me. It's what I always dreamed of doing. So, no, it never gets old.
And I mean, early on, you were working at RCA. Correct me if I'm wrong. And essentially, your job back then was to pick good songs.
Well,
right?
I was pitching songs and also promoting other artists like Waylon and John Denver and Elvis, of course. He was at the top of the list, my friend. And back then it was Porter and Norma Jean. It wasn't even Porter and Dolly. It wasn't Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton yet.
Yeah.
So I go back a ways. But yeah, I enjoyed the record executive days because I think it kind of prepared me to be an artist. It taught me the inner workings of how record labels are supposed to work with their artists. So I learned a lot.
And I mean, you've got this obvious notoriety for picking great songs as an artist too. So those early days must have really prepared you for that as well, right?
It did. Pitching songs to other artists, you'll pitch a song to an artist, they'll record it, it goes number one, becomes a big hit, and you'll go, I knew that was going to be a hit. So I don't know. I think if anything, it gives you encouragement to believe in your own ear. And being a song plugger and a record promoter for all those years before being an artist really did kind of set me up to be a singer.
Yeah. And man, I've done a lot of reading about you, and you're just such an interesting story. And one of the things I'd love to hear you talk about is, again, working for RCA. You also started performing shows and stuff like that. And somebody asked you what your name was, and you didn't want to use your name with RCA. So tell us the story of how TG Sheppard came to be in existence.
Well, I got signed by Barry Gordy, believe it or not,
Yeah.
the owner of Motown Records.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Jackson and the Supremes and Lionel Richie and all those people. So here I am drawing a paycheck from RCA and then recording for the competition, Motown,
Yeah.
because we had records, we were competing. So I thought, if they find out that Bill Browder, which was my real name at the time, is TG Sheppard, they're going to fire me.
Yeah.
And I need my job. I just had my first baby, and my son had just been born. And so I sat down one day and took a pencil and wrote a T and a G. And I always loved the name Sheppard because of the astronaut, but I spelled it different.
Yeah.
And I came up with TG Sheppard and decided to go with that name. So it really and truly was a fluke. I never really thought that I would become a big artist or of my stature that I have rose to, which I still have never taken myself too serious as a star. To me, I don't feel that way. I'm just a guy got lucky as a singer. But no, I really and truly have been blessed to have picked a name that has stood the test of time. So we've been very fortunate.
And so what do people call you? They just call you TG or T or what?
Well, around the house, my wife will say, "Hey, you, take out the garbage. Take the dog out."
Yeah.
No, TG. I still will be walking through an airport sometimes, and I'll hear somebody go, "Bill?"
Yeah.
Man, I turn around quick because it's got to be somebody from really my way back
Right.
in my past. But no, I answer to anything. Usually just T or I
can't imagine what that's like, like essentially having a stage name like that. I mean, I guess I can because like everybody calls me Boston, even though my name is Chris.
Right. Okay, there you go. In radio, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, but no, I've often wondered what would have happened if I had stayed with my real name, Bill Browder.
Yeah.
I don't think that's got a good ring to it.
No. Imagine working for RCA and Motown at the same time, man.
Yeah. Gosh. Those were great days. And to get discovered by Barry Gordy, wow, that was just like being at the right place at the right time. It was magic.
Yeah, you mentioned Elvis, man. And, I've got a tattoo right here of Elvis, TCB,
oh, right.
Taking Care of Business, named my son after him. And so I'm a huge fan. But Elvis gave you your first tour bus. Is that right? Can you talk about the impact of Elvis on your career a little bit?
Well, I met Elvis when I was 15 at a skating rink.
Wow.
He invited me in to skate with him. And wow, that was the start of probably one of the most incredible and interesting friendships that a 15-year-old guy could ever hope for.
I imagine.
And after we got through skating that night, he says, "Are you hungry?" And of course, I was a runaway at that time, and I was eating out of garbage cans and living in alleyways. I said, "Well, yeah, I'm starving." He said, "Well, let's go up to the house and have a bite to eat." So we went up and had the famous peanut butter and banana sandwich. Well, I had several because I was hungry.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Elvis's impact on me still to this day, I feel it so strongly. But I think the day that he gave me the tour bus, somebody asked me one time, was the tour bus the biggest gift he ever gave you? And I had to think a minute because it really wasn't the biggest gift.
Right.
The biggest gift that he gave me was the gift of confidence, because if someone as big as Elvis Presley thought enough of you as a singer to gift you with a tour bus to help you get started, it really gave me confidence that if he believed in me that much, and I couldn't let him down. So I worked extra hard not to let my friend down that believed in me enough to do that for me. So really the greatest gift was not the bus. The greatest gift he gave me was confidence.
Yeah, validation. That's huge, right? Like from
absolutely.
the biggest star on the planet. That's huge.
Wonderful guy. I mean, so fun people ask me all the time, what do you miss the most about Elvis? And I can tell you, Boston, what I miss the most is his laughter.
Yeah.
He had the greatest laugh.
Yeah.
When this man laughed, he laughed all the way down to his feet.
Yeah, there's lots of recordings of Elvis laughing in the studio,
Yeah.
outtakes and things like that I love to listen to.
He was a funny, funny man, practical joker too.
Yeah, that's amazing. You mentioned being a runaway at 15 and going to Memphis. Now, from what I understand, the impetus for that was your music. You wanted to get into music. I'm curious, though, as someone who grew up in Humboldt, Tennessee, why'd you choose Memphis rather than Nashville?
You know, it's strange you'd ask that because I've often wondered if I had walked on the other side of the interstate and hitchhiked toward Nashville, would I have made it?
Yeah.
But for some reason, Memphis was just closer. I had a few friends that lived in Memphis. So for some reason, I just stayed on that side of the interstate, stuck my thumb out, and went to Memphis.
Wow.
I don't know what would have happened or if I would even be here now as TG Sheppard if I had hitchhiked to Nashville instead of Memphis. I often wonder that.
Yeah, that's just whatever side of the interstate you were on.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
I guess it was all meant to be this way, or maybe it would have happened just the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I would never have met Elvis, and he had a big impact on my life.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, Memphis was a happening place back then, too.
Oh, it was.
Probably more so than Nashville, I would imagine.
Well, back then you had Elvis was recording there, Neil Diamond, Dionne Warwick, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
Booker T and the MGs.
Carl Perkins. I mean, everybody was there.
Everybody was
Otis Redding.
Otis Redding. Yeah. It was a very magical time in Memphis those years.
Yeah, man. Memphis is a great place even today, man. It's so cool to kind of tour the history and see.
Oh yeah, I enjoy going there. I go there quite often. I love going to Memphis.
Yeah, man. Let's talk a little bit about touring because you're still an active musician today. You're still an active artist. How do you maintain that joy and passion to stay on the road as much as you do?
I think it's all in pacing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can suffer burnout. We all get tired of our jobs from time to time. Let's be honest. But then something will happen, and you'll go, "Wow, I'm lucky to do this." Mm-hmm. I've just paced myself always. 50 years of being on the road. I can't believe it went so quick.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm still out here doing it every week. And I might mention to anyone who wants to keep up with our tour schedule to go to tgsheppard.com.
Yep.
Follow us on all the socials or
that'll
YouTube.
be in the description below too to make it easy for everybody.
Yeah. But it's just I don't know. I've always tried to take care of myself and tried to stay healthy and get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night if I can, which is not normal, not every day.
Yeah.
But just pacing myself.
I've heard that you get tired of the road life, but then when you go home, you miss it so much. It's like just 1 or 2 days and you're wanting back, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, when you walk out on a stage and you hear the crowd, you feel the spotlight on you, and people are into your music and they know who you are. It's almost like a drug.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And when you are back home for a day or two, you miss it because it's an amazing thing to happen for a person to be able to stand on stage and people listen to what you say and what you do. It's just, I've always considered it an honor and a pleasure to do that, and I'm very fortunate. So when I'm not doing it, I miss it, and when I am doing it, I miss home.
Yeah, it's really tough, man. Catch-22, right? Like
it's a balancing act.
Yeah, you miss the other place, and I get that because like usually the other place is where your family is, and
absolutely, you miss your loved ones a lot,
right? Yeah. And I mean, 50, 60 years of doing this, man, you could probably write a book on that balance, right?
Well, I'm in the process of writing my life story now, and hopefully it'll be out next year. And there'll be a lot of fun stories in there. I don't really know how to approach the book because I've met so many incredible people along the way.
Yeah.
So it may be just a conglomeration of people I have met through my life and the stories that went along with them and how I met them.
I will definitely be looking for that. I love musician books, artist books. I'm a fan of the story, so
me too.
I'd love to talk about your charity work too, and some of the organizations that you've worked with over the years, and let you talk a little bit about them. And I want to put some descriptions down or some links down in the description for folks to support. Here's just to name a few: the Cerebral Palsy Inc., St. Jude's, of course, the Alzheimer's Association, United Way, Child Help USA. You've always been so open with your time. Why is that so important to you?
I think it's important and an obligation that every performer has to give back a little bit of what you take, to pay it forward and help those in need. For instance, just yesterday, my wife, Kelly Lang, who is a great singer-songwriter.
Absolutely.
We went down to Monroe Junior Carroll's Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt and presented them a check for $90,000.
Wow.
To help the children there who are in desperate need, who can't pay bills, and parents who have nowhere to stay. And so we did a benefit concert here a few weeks ago called Country for a Cause. And we raised $90,000, and we do it every year. We do it every year. To date, we've raised around $280,000 so far for the hospital the last few years. So no, I think it goes with the territory. I think if you truly love what you do and have an appreciation for what you do, you need to learn to give back a little. And a lot of people don't, but I love giving back.
Yeah, it's just finding the time because you're so busy.
Yeah.
You know, and I know
you can always find the time.
Right.
You really can. There's a way to help somebody.
It's about prioritizing, right? Just about prioritizing.
Even if it's just a kind word to somebody who needs lifting up that day.
Yep.
You know, I love to help people.
That's why I've got that sign right there. You are enough. I want everybody to know.
I love that. I love that sign.
Thank you. Kindness is effortless, man. I feel like people just need to know that, and it takes so much effort to be mean to somebody else. And
oh gosh, yeah. I don't know. I thank God every day for the life I live, and am still living after all these years. And I have to pinch myself most days.
I imagine. I
really do.
I'd love to talk about your. I think it was your first #1 hit. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was called "Devil in a Bottle," and
yes.
And this song, you fought so hard for this song and tried to pitch it to lots and lots of different artists. Ended up recording it yourself. I'd love to hear the story behind this one.
Well, the funny story about this, Boston, is the day that it went #1, no one recorded it because they all said it wasn't a hit.
Yeah.
And so late one night, I had time left in a demo session to record one more song. And I ran up to my office and got the little tape out. We worked it up and we recorded Devil in the Bottle. And I wound up getting signed by Motown, Barry Gordy. And the day it went #1 was the greatest story in my career, and it'll be in the book. The day it went #1, I ran to my mailbox and I opened up my mailbox to get my Billboard magazine to see it #1. And I saw it and I went, wow, I believed in this. And lo and behold, it happened. But in that same mailbox, I reached in and there was a package that I opened up with a letter that says, we do not feel that the song Devil in the Bottle is a hit.
Wow.
So we're gonna pass on this. So in one hand, I had a rejection letter from a label, and in the other hand, it was #1 in the United States. Wow. So it goes to show you, just don't give up and believe in something, you stay with it.
And the life of this song was years and years in the making before it hit the charts, right?
Yeah, it was. It laid around forever.
Yeah.
And I think a great song always finds its way. It may take a while, and then sometimes it comes quickly. But in this case, it took a long time.
Well, I mean, you got to have somebody that believes so strongly in the song to fight for it too, right? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I think that marriage between song and artist is so important, but then you got to have passionate people that believe in the song to get it into the right hands as well.
Well, you have to have a team of people that believe in you as an artist when you record a song.
Right.
You have to have great management, PR people, booking agents, great label. It's a massive amount of people that take you where you want to go in your life and your career. So The greatest thing I ever learned was from Kenny Rogers one time. I said, Kenny, you've had such an incredible career. I was opening up for him on the road for years. And I asked him one day, I said, what would you say is your biggest thing about becoming who you are? He said, remember this, TG, always surround yourself with people who know more about what you do than you do.
Yeah.
And if you do, they'll take you there. And I learned that from him, to hang around with people that knew more about something than I did. And I learned from those people, and it helped take me to wherever I've wound up in my life.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny you mentioned Kenny Rogers. I feel like you, Kenny, and Conway Twitty are the three artists that really changed the landscape of country music in the 70s, because you guys were all kind of crossover artists. You weren't just country. You had some pop in there as well. You were on multiple charts. I feel like you guys really changed the trajectory of what we know as country today.
It's funny you'd say that, because I was talking to someone earlier. You know, I came along at a very exciting time in music. It was partially because of the urban cowboy movement at that time. When John Travolta put on the cowboy hat and boots, it became the thing. You know, everybody started wearing hats and boots. So I was fortunate to come along at a time when country music was changing with a little more of a pop sound to it. And now it's changed even more to that.
Right.
But the urban cowboy days was really and truly working with Gilly and Johnny Lee and those people really and truly helped my career a lot.
Yeah. All right, I got a bunch of really short segments here I want to do with you. These end up being little TikToks and stuff, and then we'll get you off to the airport. The first one's called Did You Know? Can you tell us something that your fans may not know about you? Well,
I am an old movie buff.
Okay.
I love to sit and watch old movies, really and truly. I love Jimmy Stewart, and I love John Wayne, and I love movies. Well, I love all movies. I think any entertainer will tell you that most entertainers also love to be entertained.
Yes.
It's not always at a concert. It could be a great movie or a TV show. So I'm quite a TV addict and movie addict.
As an artist and creator yourself, are you more critical of other art, do you think?
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much so. I have to be very careful of that sometimes.
Yeah, I understand. I can't imagine. Next one's called Mount Rushmore. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of country artists?
Haggard, Jones. Oh, wow. Elvis. And probably Waylon Jennings.
Oh, that's a great list. Elvis is an interesting choice, his country years. I like that.
Well, you know, he gave us some great country songs,
Sure
but
did.
he gave us great gospel music, too. He was such a lover. He was such a devout Christian guy. And, I mean, he and I would sit and talk about the Bible all the time. He would quote me the scriptures. I mean, really, he was a smart guy. But, you know, I think those four probably had the big. Well, you know, maybe one other one would have to be probably Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Because he was such a unique voice.
Another crossover.
Yeah, another crossover. So it would be difficult to pick it, but that's a few of the names I would.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I love that question. All right, next segment's called What the Heck? This is just rapid fire, 5 questions. Just tell me the first thing that enters your brain. First one, what was your most awkward moment on stage?
I was on stage in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had on a white linen suit. And that's back when I thought I was Don Johnson of Miami Vice. And if you'll know that if linen gets wet, your skin sticks to it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm standing on stage in front of 50,000 people, and I look down, and my entire pants was wet. And I thought,
Oh, no.
I know that I haven't gone to the bathroom standing here. Yeah. And I look in the front row, and there's a kid with a water pistol. And he is wearing me out with that. And of course, that was probably one of my most embarrassing moments, but moments that stick out the most on stage.
Thank God there was no TikTok then, right?
Oh Lord, thank gosh there wasn't.
All right, next one. Let's see here. What is your weirdest talent?
My weirdest what?
Talent.
My weirdest talent. My weirdest talent is that I can remember people's faces. Names don't always come to me
Yeah,
because you meet so many people. But if I meet a person and talk to them for a moment, there's something about them that if I meet them again years later, I know I've met them before.
interesting.
Now, on with Garth Brooks, he remembers their names as well because he took a course that taught him that.
Yeah,
But I remember faces.
nice. All right, number 3. Where do you think squirrels go during hurricanes?
Squirrels,
Yeah.
hopefully in their trees with their nuts.
I don't know. That wouldn't seem like a very safe place during a hurricane, though.
Where do squirrels go during a hurricane? It's the strangest question anybody has ever asked me.
That's
Where in
why
the
it's
heck
called
did you
What
get
the
this
Heck,
question?
TG. That's why it's called What the Heck.
Hopefully somewhere safe. That's all I can tell you.
They better learn how to dig, huh?
Just ground, you know.
Yeah, they better learn how to dig.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. What are you most afraid of?
The devil. I'm a very spiritual guy, and he's running pretty rampant right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's very scary because I'm a strong Christian, and I think that's my biggest fear. Is I don't fear him really because my power is much greater with God.
Yeah.
But the devil is a fearful thing, and you need to be aware of him that he's
Agreed.
there.
Agreed. All right, last one on this. Most controversial, perhaps. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Yeah.
All right.
I want pineapple on anything.
Heck yeah.
I mean, actually, I will sit in the kitchen here where I'm sitting now at my kitchen table and eat a whole bowl of. I'm a pineapple connoisseur. I love it. And yeah, but on pizza, yeah, even on hamburgers with a cheese
Yeah,
melted.
it's good. I love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, next one's called One Artist. Who is one artist you wish the whole world knew about?
I wish the world knew about Jimmy Buffett.
Nice.
One of the kindest, most talented, brilliant writers and businessmen that I've ever known.
Nice.
He was just a great guy. He's a guy that everybody needs to study and listen to his music and what his life was. He was a pilot. He just a very smart man.
Just a great storyteller too. Golly.
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Yeah, very underrated storyteller.
Yeah.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned directly from music?
I think is to never give up. We live in a world and a society now where people tend to want to beat you down if you have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I bump into people all the time, Boston, that will come up to me in the autograph line or meet and greets and say, you know, I always dreamed of being who you are and what you do, a singer. But it passed me and I got older. And my advice to them, that person when they say it is never give up on your dream, because it's never too late in life to be who you might have been.
Right.
So stay with it.
It's funny you say that. Tony Arata, who wrote the Dance, the huge iconic hit for Garth Brooks,
Right.
Got to talk with Johnny Bench and of the Cincinnati Reds, and Johnny told him that he always wanted to be a songwriter, that Tony was living his dream, and Tony said, it's funny because you're living my dream. I always wanted to be a baseball player.
Yeah. Well, I've been blessed to have had him as a friend too, Johnny Bench. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right, next one's called Moment of Gravity. I can't wait to hear this from you. Everybody has that moment in time that changes their life more than any other. Kind of changes the trajectory or path that they're on. For you, it might have been music, obviously, you know, for what you ended up doing. Can you remember that time, that moment that kind of changed everything for you and led you to where you are today?
Yeah. I was probably 11 or 12 years old, and 13, and I was listening to Roy Orbison. And I loved his voice. I loved his music. And it was actually two people that I really went to school on. Charlie Rich was another one.
Wow,
A
yeah.
great singer from Memphis. So I guess that's two things right there that really altered my life and changed me and made me turn toward being an entertainer.
Yeah, great answer. What's your best advice for young artists today?
Best advice is just to dream big, be big, dream small, and be small.
I love that.
Because the bigger you dream, the bigger the dream. And I've always been a big dreamer. I have told my wife that when I go, I want on my tombstone, dream big. I did, and I was lucky. Mac Davis was one of my closest and dearest friends. And when you say that, something comes to mind that I haven't mentioned in years. Mac was here at my dinner table one night, a few days before he passed. And I looked at him one day and I said, "What do you want written on your epitaph on your stone?" He said, "TG, I think what I want on my stone is, I am now decomposing." Instead of composing.
Yeah.
He was just a funny guy. But
Yeah.
I don't know what that came to mind, but I had to share that with you.
Man, another great songwriter. You just dropping
Yeah.
all these great songwriters. Mac Davis
Oh, they're all
was
dear
amazing.
friends.
Man, I love that guy.
Well, they were all dear friends to me.
Yeah. All right, man. Next one's called Grateful. I got two more. This one's called Grateful. What are the three things you are most grateful for?
I am grateful that I live in the country I live in. I travel the world and I see the world, and I look back when I'm in other parts of the world and I see America, and sometimes we take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
We are all so blessed to be able to live here and to be free. So that, to me, is the most important.
And two more?
I think the gift of music to me is something that I appreciate so much, because on a bad day, music can turn it into a great day.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's important. That's very powerful to me. And the other thing is God.
I love that.
He's
Right.
the most important thing in my life.
Last one's called Who is TG Sheppard? So who is TG Sheppard?
A guy that got lucky, who had a dream and never gave up.
Man, I think it's a little more than luck. Just knowing how to pick great songs, knowing how to deliver great songs.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here, TG Sheppard. It is tgsheppard.com is where you want to go check everything out. And I'm going to spell that out. It is on your screen. Obviously, as he said earlier, he did not spell Sheppard normally. It is tgsheppard.com. You can follow TG on all the socials. It's at TG Sheppard on Facebook. On X, it's at TG Sheppard Music. On YouTube, it's TG Sheppard. And on Instagram, it's TG Sheppard Official. The legendary TG Sheppard is on the Boston Chris podcast. Thank you so much for your time today, man.
No, thank you. I want to give you a compliment if I can.
Sure.
I say this to people from time to time, but you need to hear this. You know, I did radio for years at Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And interviews are not always easy, and you have to do a lot of work and preparation for an interview. But there are some people that just do interviews, and then there are some people that have mastered the art of conversation and make an interview just a conversation. And you've mastered that, my friend.
Hey everybody, this is Susan Gibson, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Boston Chris podcast.